Have you ever gone to the grocery store and forgotten what you needed to buy? Or left your coffee on the roof of your car and drove off? When was the last time you forgot your keys, glasses, or phone? Maybe you walked into a room and completely blanked on why you went in there. Or you met someone you knew but couldn't remember their name, no matter how hard you tried. Human memory is not perfect. We all have these common annoying moments in our life. So why do we forget things? What are the most common mistakes we make with our memory? How does our memory change as we get older? And can we do anything to make our memory better or keep it sharp? Are you excited to know more about this interesting topic, which is directly linked with you? If yes, stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe the channel. First of all, how does memory work? Any clues? Thoughts? Well, the memory is like our brain storage system. Just like a computer saves files, our brain saves information that we see, hear, and learn. This process happens in several stages. Let's understand how. When we experience something, like reading a book or hearing a song, our brain takes in the information. This is called encoding. For example, if you meet someone new and they tell you their name, your brain starts to encode that name. After encoding, the brain stores the information. Think of this like saving a file on your computer. The brain keeps this information in different places, depending on what kind of information it is. For example, facts and knowledge go into one area, while skills, like riding a bike, go into another. When we need to remember something, our brain retrieves the stored information. This is like opening a file on your computer. For example, if you need to remember your friend's birthday, your brain pulls that information from storage. Now you might ask, if our brain has such advanced technology, why do we forget things? I'm sure everyone has experienced a moment when they forgot something important, right? When they needed to remember it. Well, to answer this question, we need to understand the 7 sins of memory, defined by Dr. Daniel Schachter, a professor at Harvard. He studies memory using psychology and neuroscience to figure out how our memory works and why it sometimes messes up. First, our memory tends to fade over time, and it's known as transience. For example, we all know from our everyday life that we remember recent events better than old ones. Like you remember what you had for breakfast today, better than what you had a year ago. The second sin of forgetting, called absent-mindedness. This is not about memory fading over time, but it is more about how memory and attention sometimes don't work well together. The third kind of forgetting is called blocking. This is when the memory is still there. It has not faded over time. But when we try to remember, we can't get the information out. Even though we know the memory is in our brain, we just can't recall it at that moment. The fourth one is called suggestibility. This happens when someone gives us false information. We mix up what really happened with what we were told. So if someone suggests something that didn't actually happen, we might think it did and add it to our memory. This kind of memory mistake is called suggestibility and can be very, very dangerous. Sometimes we remember things right, but we mix up where we heard them. Like you might think your cousin told you something cool, but it was actually from the radio or someone else. That's the fifth sin, called misattribution. The next one is bias. It means our present ideas and feelings affecting how we remember things from the past. For example, if you love chocolate, you might remember your childhood is full of chocolate treats, even if it wasn't. That's bias. The last sin is called persistence, which means those memories that keep coming back, even when we don't want them to. For example, If you had a scary experience at the dentist when you were a kid, you might keep remembering it, even though you wish you could forget it. That's persistence. Now, you might have some common questions in your mind, like what causes memory problems? And how does aging affect memory? Let's try to understand it in a simple way. Stress and anxiety are significant contributors to memory problems. When we're stressed, our body produces cortisol, a hormone that can interfere with the brain's ability to encode and retrieve memories. A study conducted at the University of California, Irvine, found that high levels of cortisol, especially over prolonged periods, can damage the hippocampus, a crucial part of the brain, FICE, involved in memory formation and recall. The next thing that can reduce memory is lack of sleep. During sleep, the brain organizes memories, moving them from short-term to long-term storage. A study from Harvard Medical School showed that not getting enough sleep makes it harder to remember new things and recall old information. You might have noticed that your grandparents often struggle to remember old memories. It takes them longer to recall things, and this is very natural. As we get older, our memory naturally gets weaker. This is a normal part of aging, but it can be different for each person. Research by the National Institute on Aging indicates that the brain's volume decreases with age, particularly in regions involved in memory, such as the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Certain medical conditions, such as Alzheimer's disease, depression, and chronic illnesses, can cause significant memory problems. Alzheimer's disease is characterized by severe memory loss and cognitive decline, affecting millions of people worldwide. So far, we've talked about the problems with memory. Now, let's see if there's any way we can keep our memory sharp. A study by the University of Waterloo in Canada found that using mnemonics can significantly improve recall. Participants who used mnemonic devices performed better on memory tests compared to those who did not use these aids. Now, you must be wondering, what is mnemonics? Mnemonics are memory aids that help people remember information through associations. One common type is the acronym. For example, PEMDAS helps students remember the order of operations in mathematics. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. The method of loci, an ancient Greek technique, is a form of visualization where you associate information with specific locations in a familiar place, such as your home. A study conducted at Radboud University in the Netherlands demonstrated that participants using the method of loci showed a 30% improvement in memory recall. Basically, it is nothing but creating mental images to represent the information one needs to remember. There is one more effective way to memorize a lot of information. It is called chunking. It involves breaking down large pieces of information into smaller, manageable chunks. For instance, remembering a long number like 1, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 can be easier if chunked into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Normally for kids, we use the technique of storytelling, and it is very effective. To remember a list of unrelated words, you can create a story that includes all the words. This technique leverages the brain's natural affinity for stories, making the information more memorable. Besides these, there are other techniques like repeated practice, association, can be used in daily life to improve our memory retention and recall, making our lives more efficient and productive. Try out these techniques to see which one works best for you. They can help you impress others with your sharp memory, boost your exam scores, avoid awkward moments by remembering people's names, recall phone numbers without needing your phone, and make it easier to describe important scenes from a movie to your friends. Share your experiences in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll explore another fascinating topic that your curious mind is eager to learn about. See you soon.